And welcome into this edition of NFL Daily.
The best.
It is Friday. Cam Rogers, Harris Rubenstein, and we are breaking down every single week 4 matchup in the NFL. Harris, an exciting one.
Oh, very exciting one. We had a great week. Regardless of protests, politics, blah, 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 we had an unbelievable week 3 of the NFL. Chaos all over the place, upsets, spreads, everything you could ever want in an NFL weekend. We had it. It was an awesome week 3.
Of course, one game completed last night. We will recap the Packers versus
will.
the Bears. But of course, we are completely live, Harris. That means
100%.
Everybody comment, react, throw out your thoughts throughout this program here today. A lot of exciting matchups across the NFL.
Absolutely.
Week 4 is that point, Harris, where we really start to see the contenders separate from the pretenders.
This is where you start, we talked about redoing our power rankings after this week. This is the week where it kind of starts to separate between the best teams in the NFL, the worst teams in the NFL, who's actually good, who has talent. You can start separating the teams that are actually going to win games and the teams that just have talent. We'll see.
And a lot of times, injuries begin to pile up for teams at this point in the season. Of course, we are presented by our favorite, mybookie.ag, a fantastic site. You know, Harris, people call me the analyst because I am pretty darn good at picking NFL games, and I give them my answers, and I say, go on to mybookie.ag. You use promo code CHAT, 100% deposit bonus on that initial deposit up to $1,000. I'm talking about free money.
Free money?
Free money in this economy.
Cam, there's nothing I love more than free money. That is the best deal you will find on the internet. Just go on to MyBookie, use promo code CHAT, and you just get money. You just get free money. It's unbelievable. What a deal. What a deal. It's unbelievable.
It's a beautiful thing. And by the way, you can also go to chatsports.com/bet if that's easier for you. So we thank mybookie.ag for coming along the program with us as we go through all the important games here. But before we do that, we have some news and notes to get to, and we'll start off with some news from last night in terms of Davante Adams and that hit he took from Danny Trevathan in that game against the Chicago Bears. It was a rough one. I mean, it looked as though Davante was still moving, but he was moving backwards a little bit. Danny Trevathan came in hard, crown of the helmet, hit his helmet, mouth guard out, and he was
There's
down.
just no, say what you want about, the game's moving fast. There's just no reason for Danny Trevathan to make that hit. He wasn't in the play. Davante Adams was already going, was clearly stopped in his tracks. And here comes Danny Trevathan with a clear cheap shot. I don't really care what he says about I'm so sorry, this and that. That was an absolute complete cheap shot. He led with his helmet. He saw where his target was. You can't say, Davante Adams is going down. Danny Trevathan led with his helmet, and I'm honestly stunned he didn't give himself a concussion as well. It's garbage. Garbage hit.
It's an interesting situation because Davante Adams, of course, giving the thumbs up last night as he was being taken off the field, did tweet this morning, folks, saying he is okay, appreciate the prayers, but a lot of times NFL players are a little overly optimistic about it.
I guarantee you there's a 0% chance that Davante Adams felt good when he woke up this morning. Danny Trevathan, look, the NFL this past offseason came out with the concept that players will be suspended for what they called quote-unquote devastating hits. Cam, do you need a better example for what a quote-unquote devastating hit would be than what Danny Trevathan did? I think he deserves a suspension.
We'll get more into that hit and, of course, the game later. Let's move on to some more news and notes here. And we're talking about injuries for the Cincinnati Bungles. Tyler Eifert, imagine that, he's hurt.
Wow, what a surprise. It's almost like this happens every single year, and he's the worst person to ever draft in fantasy.
John Ross as well out for Cincinnati. It may not matter playing at home against a Browns team that has obviously been struggling as well. But you look at the fact that Tyler Eifert just cannot consistently be healthy. Missed 8 games last year, 15 games in 2014.
And also, I was worried about John Ross's ability to stay on the field. He had some knocks coming out of Washington. I know he has that knee problem, but Tyler Eifert being injured, just it's same old, man. This is what happens every single year. Tyler Eifert starts off okay, gets injured, comes back, has a crazy end of the season. Then the fantasy experts say, this is the year to draft Tyler Eifert, then the same thing happens all over again. Please.
More reason to wait on a tight end when you draft, but that is neither here nor there. Also, John Ross continuing to be out which is very significant for him if he wants to get some good reps in with Andy Dalton and really build that chemistry. So we'll see going forward if they can bounce back in terms of the health department. Let's move on to the Saints. They'll be playing in London against Miami.
Fancy London town.
There you go, Harris. This Sunday morning, if you will. And the Saints, or at least Drew Brees has tweeted saying that the players will kneel before the anthem, so they'll take a page out of the Dallas Cowboys playbook, if you will.
They can't see me on camera right now because we have the graphic up, but I'm just massive eye roll.
There you
Please stop. This kneeling before the anthem thing is complete and utter crap. Like, again, when, like every single player in the NFL, like, oh, we're trying to make everyone happy. There's good people on both sides. Like, we're getting away from the message again. Stop. Jerry Jones ruined this anthem protest already.
Jerry Jones.
Ruined it. He ruined it already. He ruined this entire experience for the NFL players. And now here we go. You know, we're gonna kneel before the anthem. Get this out of my face. Ugh.
That's a whole new side story. But we have some game highlights to show you, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the Packers take it on the Bears, the longest rivalry in the National Football League. We will start here where the Packers strike first. Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams into the end zone for the score, 7-0. A rough night for my guy, Mike Glennon. His first play, he holds it way too long, and it gets knocked loose by Clay Matthews. Jake Ryan recovers. That leads to Aaron Rodgers' TD pass number 2.
Oh, that was a great play.
There's Randall for the score. More issues for the Bears. Shocker, as a low snap bounces off Glennon.
Oh, that's a Brock candidate. Martinez. Oh, that's the #1 Brock candidate of the week so far.
Here's Jordy Nelson. He gets involved with a deep pass from Rodgers. Look at Rodgers just making that play happen, dancing around. And then just Jordy Nelson. Look at this. Breaking ankles. I mean, what is this, basketball right now? Nelson really makes a nice play. That sets up just a little squirt there for rookie Aaron Jones into the end zone. He was in due to injuries at the running back position. Positive Bears highlight here. Mike Glennon finding Kendall Wright. I really like Kendall Wright at the wide receiver position. 21-7 at the half, but it was all Packers the second half. Here you go, Rodgers to Nelson. Way too easy, 28-7. And then on the first play of the fourth quarter, the Bears totally forgot about Nelson here. Wide open for the score, Harris. Packers win 35-14. Green Bay 3-1. The Bears 1-3, and the Bears are considering changes from the quarterback position on down.
And look, you know, this Packers team, they've been absolutely lethal in the red zone the past couple years, and this year has been no different. Aaron Rodgers, I said at the beginning of the year, Aaron Rodgers is on the warpath. You can't stop Aaron Rodgers this year. He is coming for blood. He's coming for the MVP trophy that he should have won last year over Matt Ryan. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers is on his way to having one of the best seasons of his career. The dude is just absolutely lethal. It's crazy, and Mike Glennon's awful. Like, I'm sorry. The Bears gave Mike Glennon $14 million guaranteed this season. Like, did you really think it wasn't going to end up like this? Did you really think this wasn't going to happen? Like, it's bad.
And by the way, I mean, we can't let this slide either. Jordan Howard, 18 carries for only 53 yards. With that offensive line for Chicago, I think it's a concern as well.
Against that defensive line for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, look, I went into that game saying that the Green Bay Packers defense is not good, and it is not. And somehow the Bears only pulling out 14 points in this game, I think was a big-time missed opportunity for Chicago to do something on offense.
Okay, let's take a look at the play here that everybody was talking about this morning. It's the Davante Adams hit by Danny Trevathan here, and you'll see it right here. He's moving, and Trevathan just comes right in with his
absolute
crown of his helmet
garbage.
There. You look at the players for Green Bay, they're immediately pointing to the darkness.
Garbage. Absolute. There's no, that hit was completely 100% unnecessary. He's going to the ground. Trevathan leads with the crown of his helmet and hits him basically right in the face. If they weren't wearing helmets, the top of his skull would have been planted on his left cheek. Unacceptable. Suspend him. Like, there's no place in the modern day NFL for that kind of stuff. No, absolutely unacceptable. Not cool. Not cool, Danny Trevathan.
I will speak for Trevathan a little bit here. This is what he said to the Chicago Tribune last night. Quote, "I was just trying to make a play. It wasn't intentional. I was just trying to hustle to the ball and do my job. Unfortunately, he wound up hurt. I'm sorry about that, and I'm going to reach out to him and try to send him a message." So some remorse there, Harry.
Like, I can understand remorse, but, like, I'm sorry, he's not the one that's in the hospital right now with a
Right.
really nasty concussion. Probably going to miss a couple weeks too. So I just look. You can be as sorry as you want to be. He still did it. It's not like it was an accident that it was an accidental helmet-to-helmet contact, which we've seen before. No, he led with his helmet full on like a charging bull into Davante Adams. And our weighing on the screen, is the NFL becoming too soft with big hits?
You think so?
I think the NFL fans are getting soft when it comes to big hits. Like, even my reaction, they're like, think about it, 7 years ago or 10 years ago when a hit like that happened, we wouldn't have gone, ooh, oh goodness, oh yikes, we would have gone, boom, what a hit, that's awesome. But now that's just not the nature of the NFL. I think it was too bad.
It was certainly something that made me say out loud, whoa.
Yeah.
Because when you saw the mouth guard pop out, that's when you know
he got absolutely
it was
roasted.
pretty bad.
It was rough. I don't know. I think that the NFL is trying to do as much as they can with these big hits, but it starts with the players.
And of course, as we go throughout the show, we encourage you to comment. And here is one comment. He's at home feeling better. That's what he tweeted. Absolutely right.
Of course he's going to tweet that, but I'm sorry. After getting hit like that, spending a night in the hospital, I'm sure his head is not feeling great this morning, regardless of what he's tweeting.
Bringing in Joe here. I'm watching all the way from Italy.
Mamma
there
mia.
You go.
We love it.
I
Welcome.
wish I knew like an Italian word to say.
I
have nothing. I'm sorry. I took Latin in high school.
I don't know. I took Spanish. It got C's.
So all the best, by the way, to Davante Adams as
Yes.
he does recover. A very scary situation there. But of course, we have games to look forward to. And
Let's do it.
Harris, this week I actually ordered the games from least important to most important.
Okay,
so I'm
okay.
going with the kind of stay tuned for the big
Not
matchups.
bad, not bad. I like
So,
it. I can dig it.
Let's start with the clunker of the week. In my eyes, the Cleveland Browns taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams a combined 0-6.
You're not wrong here, Cam. I mean, and you know what's even crazy is that I honestly think the Browns might win this game. I took the Bengals this week just because the offense looked back on cue against Green Bay, but it would not surprise me if the Browns were able to win this game. I put on the screen here, as we'll get in a second when the highlight finishes up, that Deshaun Kaiser is the lowest QB rating in the NFL. They ask him to do too much as a rookie quarterback.
They threw him right in there.
They ask him to do everything for that offense, make unbelievably accurate throws on the outside, evade a lot of pass rush, call all the plays from the huddle. They ask him to do so much, and I think that they're swamping him a little bit. I think they might mix up with Deshaun Kaiser going forward. I think it's too much for him.
So the Cincinnati Bengals are indeed favored by 3 in this game at home. You're taking Cincinnati.
I am taking Cincinnati. I think they're going to get their first win of the year. AJ Green dominates the AJ Green dominates the AFC North in general,
That's
but
true.
he especially loves eating some brownies. So I think that the Bengals are going to roll.
I'm going to go Cincinnati as well. I like the way they competed against Green Bay. They need this win big time if they want to be a contender in the division at all.
Absolutely.
So who do you have, ladies and gentlemen? Give us a heart for the Cleveland Browns. Give us a wow face for the Cincinnati Bengals. And, yeah, I think the Bengals win this game even with that -3 there. I think they'll get this one handedly. By the way, where is Mr. Isaiah Crowell? Wasn't he supposed to be the guy?
Mr. Isaiah Crowell is they are usually down by too many points to actually
True.
run the ball
Poor
with
guy.
him.
And
but
that offensive line is good, and wow.
what are you going to do?
This is too bad. All right, so Harris and I agree on that first game. Let's move on to the next matchup here. Another clunker, if you will. Jacksonville taking on the Jets, but the Jaguars looked pretty good against my Baltimore Ravens in London. The Jets actually took it to the Dolphins.
They won a game.
Both these teams are coming off a win, Harris.
Yeah, it's incredible. The Jets actually won a football game early. I did not think they were going to win a football game this early in the year. But good on the Jets, currently sitting at 1-2. But I think this Jaguars team only being favored by 3 is kind of ridiculous. That's like, sure, it's the rule that, like, all right, if they were at home, they'd be favored by 9. If they were in a neutral field, they'd be favored by 6. But I think the Jaguars going into New York only being favored by 3. I think this is an easy game to put money on. I'm going to put money on this game from my bookie on the Jaguars to win.
I do think the Jaguars will win this game outright, but I think the Jets keep it close. And I think they get within that 3-point margin there. So
I just don't know how the Jets are going to score. Like for instance, if the Ravens couldn't score against the Jaguars, the Jets' offense is so bad that the Ravens' offense is even better than theirs. And I think the Jets' offense might be the worst in the NFL. I don't know how they're going to score against the Jaguars. They have no outside receiving options. Matt Forte is out, so Bilal Powell is going to be carrying everything. Jaguars already have a great run defense and 2 outstanding corners on the outside. I don't even know if the Jets are going to score a point in this game. We'll see. I would not be surprised if they got shut out at home.
So who do you have, ladies and gentlemen? Give us a heart for the Jaguars. Give us a wow face for the Jets here. Harris is going hard. I'm going wow face. Sometimes when you pick games, Harris, it doesn't make sense, and you can't really explain the rationale. This is one of those games for me where I just feel like the Jets hang around.
And they might hang around, but if the only way that you're going to be able to get your money with if you're putting money on the Jets is if they only lose by 2 points, 3 points or less, or they win. Which, man, if the Jaguars can't beat the Jets by 4, I don't know anything.
Hey,
I don't get
that's
it.
the NFL we live in.
That's fair.
Days. Let's move on to the next game here in my game rankings, if you will. 49ers at the Cardinals, and the Cardinals need this one badly. They're favored by 7.
Yeah, the Cardinals really do need a big win for the year to really get it restarted. This team is kind of done for me, but hey, the 49ers looked really good last week at home against the Rams, scoring, I think it was 39 points. They did let up 41, so take that as you will. But I think the 49ers will actually keep this game close. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no. You took the 49ers. I took the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to win by 10 points, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, NFC West, it seems really watered down this year, and I think it's going to be a close game, and I think the 49ers hang around and stay within that margin there. As you see, the Cardinals are indeed favored by 6.5. But those two docs right there, Mike Iupati headed to IR, Alex Boone, he's out as well, a lot of offensive line injuries.
Yep.
Carlos Hyde, a game-time decision. He's been a fantastic running back for the 49ers so far this year. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough call for me, but I am going to go with the 49ers. Don't feel great about it. But the Cardinals here, a pretty hefty margin. I think it's too much.
I think it is too much as well. I think minus 6.5 to the Cardinals is a very bold line set by Vegas. But I still think the Cardinals are going to win by 10. I think that while their offensive line is an issue, they're going to be able to stifle the pass rush pretty well. We'll see, though. That was their biggest issue against Dallas. I think the Cardinals will win this one, though.
All right, toss a heart for the 49ers, a wow face for the Cardinals as we move on to the Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talking about a team who needs a win. The Giants, they lost a heartbreaker last week against the Eagles.
Yeah, really. And the problem with the New York Giants is that their offensive line is the worst in the NFL, maybe only behind the Seattle Seahawks. We'll see. But this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is very, very good, but also very, very volatile. So you don't really know if 1 week you're going to get a really good football team or the next if you're going to look like a team that needs a top 5 pick. But I think for the most part, the Buccaneers only being favored by 3 is easy money to me. This Buccaneers team just, in terms of overall talent, is just that much better than the New York Giants. This is basically saying that the Giants, if they were playing this game at home, would be favored, which is outrageous to me. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this one handily.
Look, I think it's time finally for the Giants to get a win. It has to happen at some point, right? Like, it just does. So I'm going to take the Giants to win this game outright, actually, on the road. The jury's still out for me with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Harris. They looked great against the Bears.
Yep.
They stunk against the Vikings. And look, we only know 2 games about them so far this year.
They're very volatile. Like I said, I don't know if this is a playoff team or if this is a team that needs another top 5 pick. But it all kind of comes down to Jameis Winston. His interception rate is up this year. He has 3 TDs to 3 picks through 2 games. He needs to be better. He is what will make this team go. So when he's playing with the volatility that he's playing the first couple games, the team is going to respond the same.
So respond to us, folks. Give us a heart for the Giants or a wow face for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the home favorites. As we move along here, it is the London game, back-to-back, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saints taking on the Dolphins. And this is kind of an interesting game. Look, Jay Cutler probably will have some opportunities down the field. The Saints are favored in this game on the road, quote-unquote, by 3. So, Harris, you're going Fins.
I am because I don't think the Saints are going to be able to win this game by a large margin. I think that the Dolphins really need a big-time comeback win. I think them in London will be like a really fun advantage for them, but for the most part, I just don't think the Saints team is really any good. I think the Dolphins defense is going to be good enough to stifle. The Saints offense. We'll see. I think the Dolphins will be just fine.
Drew Brees has really had a nice season so far this year, and it looks like he may get his 2 starting tackles back. So the fact that Brees doesn't have a pick yet, and he's been dealing with an offensive line with backup tackles, that's pretty impressive for him. All that said, I will take the Dolphins as well in this game, Harris. I think Jay Cutler gets it done down the field. Jay Ajayi is questionable. Looks like he will play, though.
I just think the Dolphins are going to win this game. Like, I don't see a universe where the Saints win this game, like, outright, where they just straight dominate Dolphins. But again, I could be very wrong. The Dolphins did just lose to the Jets, so who really knows?
Welcome to
we'll
the
see.
NFL.
Yeah,
exactly.
Really.
With that, we bring you a weigh-in, folks, and I am really curious. Do you watch the London NFL games? Like, if you're a West Coaster right now, do you get up at 6:30 a.m. to watch an NFL game? I mean, we would because we're hardcore, fans like that. But who knows?
So with the Jaguars-Ravens game, I did not wake up in time for the start of the game. I actually only started watching it when I came into work. But
okay, so I'm the only diehard fan at this desk right now.
Well, if the Patriots were playing, I would have watched the London NFL game. But I think that's kind of what it is for a lot of general NFL fans. I don't think they're going to wake up early to watch the Saints against the Dolphins. Like, they're just not going to do it. But you throw Patriots, like Steelers in London, like, people are going to wake up and watch that game, but no one's going to watch Saints-Dolphins. Like, they're two teams that really no one cares about.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we'll see what happens. That's an interesting game at that. And we want to remind you, folks, of course, we are presented by mybookie.ag. Harris, you want to know how you can get free money?
How?
Sign up, mybookie.ag. Initial deposit, $100. You get $100 back. Okay?
One more time?
That's
I'm sorry.
That's $100 bonus.
You're just going to give me $100.
I'm just going to give
Or
you
my
$100.
bookie's going to give me $100.
My bookie's going to, yes, I am not going to give you $100.
You should give me $100.
Maybe I'll give you $100.
I would love having $100.
I don't know if I like you that much yet.
Fair enough.
But absolutely, mybookie.ag. Use promo code CHAT. Go to chatsports.com/bet if you would like to do it that way as well. Many thanks to mybookie.ag.
Make that money. Make that money.
There you go. Make those bets for these big games this weekend as we move along here and bring you an interesting one. NBC Sunday Night Football. I mean, they were banking on Andrew Luck playing in this one. Not gonna happen.
Hate this line so much. The Seahawks are favored by 13 at home, but they're only averaging 16 points per game. And I got to say, you know what, Cam? Jacoby Brissett has not looked like a disaster.
No,
Jacoby
not at
Brissett
all.
has actually looked okay through the first couple of games of this season. Obviously, no Andrew Luck. It's going to be a big-time problem for the Colts, and I don't think they're going to win. But, God, this line just brings me so much pain. I hate seeing any team that doesn't score a lot of points favored by 13. But they're playing the Colts. And if there's ever a team to launch your offense against, it's the Colts. And I think that the Seahawks are finally going to prove that they can score a lot of points this week.
think the 12th man will be rocking in this one on Sunday Night Football. The world will be watching. I think the Seahawks win handedly in this one. I'll take the Hawks as well, Harris.
And I think one of the things that people don't realize about this game, especially when it comes back to Russell Wilson and the offense, Russell Wilson has actually been pretty good this year. 5 touchdowns, no picks.
All things considered.
All things considered, one of the top 10 passer ratings in the NFL. Like, it's not his fault they're bad. It's the offensive line's fault that they've been so bad this year. They can't run the ball. So I think that Russell Wilson's going to turn things around. The Seattle offense in general is going to turn things around with the help of Russell Wilson.
Side question: will Eddie Lacy ever be a starting running back?
No,
again?
no. I think it just came down to the fact that, like, if you go look back at his stats, or not his stats, like his actual tape with Green Bay, he was never actually that good. He was just big. Like, he never hit. Like, he was like
a bowling ball.
He was like LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say LeGarrette Blount is a great starting NFL. He just was, and Eddie Lacy was the same way. Like, he just wasn't very good in general.
All right, next game here. Bills taking on the Atlanta Falcons. This one in Atlanta. The Buffalo Bills, 2-1, but they always do this.
It's because no one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
Bills
Cam.
Mafia. I mean, they just beat the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, of course, on the road. But look, I mean, this is a team that is, not scoring a lot of points right now, but the defense is there, pretty solid. And Atlanta, I mean, they are a challenge at home, but the Bills could hang around.
I called it in the beginning of the year that I thought that Sean McDermott was going to create a competitive football team, regardless of who they were trading, that this team was going to be competitive. They were going to be in games. And so far, they have been. But now facing a Falcons team that shredded the Packers at home, I think this Falcons team at home with the new stadium is going to be just a freakish team at home.
Too.
So Falcons favored by 8 in this game. I'm taking the Falcons with the points. I think they're going to win this game by more than 8 points. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually run away with this one. The Bills are a way better team at home than they are on the road, and I think the Falcons at home are going to absolutely destroy them.
The Bills haven't played a team like the Falcons yet.
No.
That's just a fact.
And by the way, I know they beat the Broncos, but like I say, every single broadcast, the Broncos, they are who we thought they were. They're going to be a great team at home, and they're going to suck on the road. This is what they've done for the past 3 seasons since Manning has left. They've been a great team at Mile High, but you take them out of Denver, and they struggle when they can't run the ball, and that's what happened against the Bills.
I will join you. I will take the Falcons as well over the Buffalo Bills. You, of course, can weigh in as well. Give us a heart for Buffalo.
Bills.
A wow face for the Falcons. As we move on to what is a really interesting game here, Harris. Like 2 fringy type teams in the preseason. We thought maybe they could make a push. Some people picking the Chargers to actually win the Super Bowl. The game is Chargers versus Eagles. Eagles on the road in this one. Chargers favored by 2.
The Chargers favored at home by 2 is a little bit shocking to me because that makes you think that Vegas wants them to have a home field advantage, but I think the usual 3-point home field advantage number doesn't really make sense if they're playing at StubHub Stadium. This is only their second or third game that they've ever played at this stadium. They're 0-3. The Eagles are coming off of a couple of big wins, just with that 61-yarder last week against the Giants. I think this Eagles team is in line for a big-time win. They need to show that they can beat very talented teams. And regardless of what the Chargers' record is, they still have a lot of talent. I want to see the Eagles' defense take a big step in this game. I think that so far they haven't really shown a lot of stuff on the outside, especially with their corners being very thin. So this is a chance for them to get back in shape. On defense.
How about the Melvins for the Chargers this year? Ingram, of course, getting it done, leading the
so
NFL in
good.
sacks.
God, he's so good.
And Melvin Gordon.
Oh man, people, I might be the biggest Melvin Ingram fan in the world. I think Melvin Ingram is one of the 5 best pass rushers in all of football. He is the best speed rusher that we have had in the NFL in a long time. He is an absolute stud. I think that he's the leader of that defense. You put him with Joey Bosa. They need a middle linebacker, and they should have drafted Reuben Foster, but they did not. I think the Chargers being a 2-point favorite in this game is absolutely outrageous. That makes me think that Vegas thinks the Chargers are a better team than the Eagles, and they're just not.
I am going to actually take the Chargers to win this game. Same mentality with the Giants. Look, it's got to happen at some point, and I think at home against a Philly team coming across the country, perhaps this could be the week for the Chargers.
Fair. First game for the Eagles in LA since 1992.
There you go.
So I think the Eagles take this one. I got the Eagles winning this game, not just covering, but also winning.
Speaking of LA, we got the Rams battling the Dallas Cowboys.
LA team
this
number
week.
2.
There you go. And the Cowboys coming into this week off a win, of course, against the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams, meanwhile, a bit of a mini bye coming off that win against the 49ers. Cowboys favored by 6 here, Harris.
You cannot convince me that this Cowboys defense is good. I don't care how many sacks they get against the Arizona Cardinals. You will never convince me that this Dallas Cowboys defense is good as long as their number 1 corners are Orlando Scandrick and Anthony Brown and Jordan. They're a bunch of guys. There's no one special on the outside. Now they have to go up against the Rams. It will be a huge thing in this game if Sammy Watkins can play. He is expected to play. If Sammy Watkins plays and the wide receiver core is healthy, I think the Rams might pull off an upset here. And especially I think they're going to cover. The Cowboys being favored by 6 is a total Vegas trap to me. This Rams team currently leads the NFL in points per game. Their defense is very, very good. I think it being in Dallas is going to be tough. But let me tell you something. This Rams team, over the past couple of years against good football teams, they have not been getting blown out. I think this Rams team is going to keep this game close. And if Todd Gurley can run the ball like we saw him against the 49ers, and he should be able to, because mind you, I do not think the Cowboys defense is very good. So if Todd Gurley is able to run the ball like he's supposed to, and if Jared Goff is able to continue the torrid pace that he started off with this season, I think the Rams might pull off an upset here or at least cover.
Let me say this right here, Harris. I have faith in the Rams to actually have a home playoff game this year.
I don't think it's out of the question. I think the NFC, the bottom half of the NFC is so completely chaotic, especially because we don't know what's going to happen with the Vikings and we don't know what's going to happen with the Buccaneers as the year goes on. This Rams team could easily make that number 2 wild card spot with a 9-7 record. So I don't think you're wrong there. I said that the goal for this Rams team this year should be 8-8. And as of right now, I think they're very obviously going to get to 8-8.
All right, folks, we bring up a reaction poll for you guys. By the way, I am taking the Rams as well, and that leads us to this. Is Jared Goff a legitimate MVP contender? Harris, he's in our list in our power rankings from the past show.
I'm going to give it a wow face for maybe. I mean, look, the guy right now is 4th in the NFL in passer rating. If this Rams team wins double-digit games, he has to be considered for it. I mean, he looks like a completely different quarterback. Sean McVay has completely changed around his ideology.
Yeah,
leave it to McVay. I think it's there should be no hearts coming across my screen, and there aren't a lot of hearts. No way is probably a better option, but I think as of right now, it's either maybe or probably not. It really depends on how well he plays the rest of the year, because again, ladies and gentlemen, he is 4th in the NFL in passer rating through 3 games. I think that we're seeing a major comeback year from Jared Goff, and I don't know. I think he might be in the mix if he can keep up this pace. We'll see.
The sample size is, of course, small.
Yes, it is small.
We need to go forward and evaluate how he plays, and I think it starts with the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. That'll be very telling for us. So there you go, Rams taking on the Cowboys. And a friendly reminder that we are indeed presented by mybookie.ag.
Yes, we are.
Go to mybookie.ag, use promo code CHAT, pick all the games, your initial deposit. If it's $100, you get $100 back. If it's $500, you get $500 back. They will match your initial deposit up to $1,000. Harris, that is too good to be true, but it is.
I'm literally speechless with how good of a deal that is. If you're an NFL fan and you like sports betting and you haven't taken us up on this deal, I got no words for you, man. Like you need to go do this deal if you like gambling. If you don't like gambling, stay away. But for us degenerates, go do it.
I have a lot of gambler friends, and I tell them, of course, mybookie.ag, great place to go.
Best.
Heck, I even say, you guys should come on to be like testimonials.
The best. I've been using them the past couple years. I moved away from a lot of the other sites. MyBookie's the way to go, 100%.
Many thanks to them. As we move on here in our picks, here you go, your boys. The Panthers battling the Patriots at Gillette Stadium. Look, I just think the best way to describe Carolina right now, Harris, deflation.
Their number 1 cornerback is out. Their best offensive lineman is out. Curtis Samuel isn't playing.
Cam Newton
looks awful. And Donta Hightower is going to play in this game. The Patriots only being favored by 9, while the Seahawks are favored by 13, is kind of surprising. Is
that a crime?
I think the Patriots should probably be favored by double digits in this game to win. With how bad Cam Newton has looked this year, he very well could turn it on in this game, and I could look very foolish. But with all due respect, the Panthers have looked like probably the worst 2-1 team in football so far this year. I think the Patriots are going to absolutely dominate them in this game.
You know, I think the Panthers can certainly cement themselves as a pretender after this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. And again, you know, don't let my homerism take over here. The Patriots defense has a lot of question marks. I mean, the secondary has not been very good. The pass rush, while they are on pace to break Bill Belichick's coaching record for sacks in a season, their secondary and the amount of big plays that they've given up this year is completely uncharacteristic of this Patriots team. But I think Donta Hightower being back will close up a lot of the middle of the field. But again, this Panthers team, I think having Curtis Samuel would have actually given them a chance, because having those 2 running backs in the backfield would have helped a lot. But with just Christian McCaffrey in there, I don't think they're going to have much of a chance.
I will take the Patriots as well in this one. I think they win it handedly. I think they're going to be a little mad after letting Houston kind of hang around.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson showed up the Patriots. Scoring 33 points in New England is not acceptable. This defense, if they want to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender, they need to get the defense really back up to par. And I think going against a bad offense like Carolina will definitely be a big-time help there.
Well, this is a sneaky good game here, ladies and gentlemen. Lions taking on the Vikings. That's why it's in my top 5 rankings. Look, this is an exciting one. The Lions can put up points. We know what they can do through the air. The Vikings, all of a sudden, can do things through the air.
Yeah, Case Keenum currently leading the NFL in passer rating. But I'll put it this way. What Vegas with this line is showing us, with the Vikings being favored by 2, is that they have absolutely no idea what to think when it comes to either of these 2 teams. And to be totally honest, I don't either. I have no idea what we're going to see on a week-to-week basis with these teams. I still think the Lions don't have enough talent on defense to be considered a legitimate contender, and the Vikings are not going anywhere despite how well he played against the Bucs. There's no way the Vikings are a playoff team if Case Keenum's their QB. So the Vikings being favored by 2 means, you get the +3 for being at home. You take that away, it means the Lions are favored by 1 at a neutral site. I actually think the Vikings are going to win this game. I still think the Lions are very overrated. I understand that they brought the Falcons to the brink and honestly should have won that game, and they probably should be 3-0. However, I still think that their defense is going to be exploited at some point in this year, and it might happen. I think that an NFC North game is going to be a tough game for the Lions to win.
I call this game the big question mark game because
Yes.
you really don't know about
don't.
these two teams yet, and we may learn more after this game concludes. So I will say, with hesitancy, the Vikings will win this game.
And I think that when it comes to that much of a question mark, when it comes to the Vikings and like you don't really know who's going to win one of these games, go with the home team. And I think that this case, the Vikings are going to be a very good home team this year. They completely roasted the Saints. They roasted the Bucks. I think the Lions are next on the cooking list.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen,
Okay,
weigh
good
in
day.
with your picks. Heart for the Lions, wow face for the Vikings. As we move into the top 4 games according to my rankings, the Titans taking on the Texans. I think this is going to be a hard-nosed, big boy football game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see, can the Titans win a big game on the road against a division rival? And I think that, it's big for a Titans team to prove that. I think the past couple years, we saw with the Raiders, they started to be able to beat Denver, and they started to be able to beat the Chargers. And that's what you need to do in order to be considered a full-time contender. You need to win games on the road in your division. So this is a big game. This is a big prove-it game, I think, for the rest of the NFL with the Titans. I think the Titans are going to take this one. They're favored in this game by 2.5. I think the Titans are going to win.
I'm going to go with the Texans here to actually win this game outright. I think they find a way. They rattle Marcus Mariota a little bit with that defense. And Deshaun Watson, the way he played last week at New England against Bill Belichick, pretty inspiring stuff.
Yeah, and it was. And again, I think that Deshaun Watson is a legitimate NFL quarterback. I think that he's proved it so far that he can stand up to big-time competition. He will have his mistakes. He will have his growing pains. But, the kid has a lot of special talent in him. He might flame out in like 3 years. Who knows? But I think they've at least found a quarterback who can take them in for the next 2 to 3 years.
It certainly will be a tough, hard-nosed game in that one. That one is in Houston.
Throwing up a heart.
As we move on here to the rivalry. Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. The Steelers and the Ravens both coming off really tough losses. Of course, Baltimore got blown out in London against Jacksonville. John Harbaugh saying, look, I don't expect to go to London anytime soon. That makes sense, John. Please don't. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh, they laid an egg against Chicago.
They laid a big egg against Chicago. And I don't know, maybe it's the Pittsburgh Steelers Soldier Field curse. But at the same time, this Pittsburgh Steelers team losing to the Bears is bad. Their offense has not gotten going this year, which is so surprising. But it all comes back to one man and one man only, and that man is Ben Roethlisberger. He has not been good so far this year. But I'll say this much. That injury to Brandon Williams, the Ravens nose tackle, probably their best run defender.
Yep.
If there is ever a week for Le'Veon Bell to wake up and start to eat, it's this week. I think you're going to see Le'Veon Bell take a big step in terms of his production.
Well, let me ask you about Ben Roethlisberger, because I think it actually is a legitimate question right now. Look, he went into this season actually thinking about retiring, and perhaps he's kind of on the decline right now. And I actually put this into a weigh-in. Is Ben Roethlisberger still a top 5 quarterback? It sounds like he's even admitting that he's struggling. He says he's got to stop forcing the ball to Antonio Brown. His offensive coordinator is coming to his defense. It's a PR kind of move going on right now.
I think Ben Roethlisberger is no longer a top 5 QB. Because, are we talking about healthy QBs? Like QB quarterbacks in the NFL that are currently healthy? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
Andrew Luck, of course.
Andrew Luck.
Drew Brees.
Still probably Drew Brees. Russell Wilson's probably on that list. I might even take Dak Prescott right now.
Wow.
Carson Wentz has had a really good start to the year. Like, the list can go on and on. Until Big Ben shows to me that he can actually play at a high level at his age, then I don't really know what to do with him. Carson Palmer's folding all over the place. Eli Manning looks like garbage. Phillip Rivers is throwing a ton of interceptions. Ben Roethlisberger looks like garbage. So we're starting to see a lot of these older quarterbacks really start to filter out of the NFL and start to take some hits, but we'll see.
So you like the Steelers in this one at Baltimore?
I do like the Steelers at Baltimore, and I think this is the week for Le'Veon Bell to really go off. And also not to mention, Antonio Brown loves playing the Ravens. Antonio Brown last year ended the Ravens season single-handedly. So in Baltimore, it's going to be a close game. I think that 3-point margin is very accurate for how much the Steelers should be ranked in this game, but how are the Ravens going to score? they're on so bad. Joe Flacco needs to stop sucking.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is on quite an interception streak right now. I will take the Ravens to win this game outright. Throw the points away. I think they get ahead of the Steelers in the point column, and they take this victory at Baltimore. They need it.
Them being at home is big, and it is a big game. I mean, the Ravens have a major opportunity to gain ground in the AFC North. I know we're only 4 games in here, but you got to win games at home against your division. If you don't win games at home in your division, they absolutely ruin your tiebreakers late in the season. This is a massive, arguably maybe even a must-win game for the Ravens at this point.
Let's go to my number 2 game of the week. It's Monday Night Football. The Washington Redskins taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Redskins have a chance to make 2 straight statements, beating 2 legit playoff teams out of the AFC West. Harris Rubenstein, this could be a big statement win for the Redskins at Arrowhead.
Oh, this could be absolutely massive. This could be one of the biggest wins for the franchise in years. But they did this last year where they would start off really hot and had a horrible middle of the season, and then they'd kind of middle about to the end of the season. But I really like this Redskins team. I think their defense is very young. It's very versatile. It's very eclectic. I mean, Kendall Fuller on the outside, along with Josh Norman. You have Jonathan Allen. You have Ryan Kerrigan. I mean, the defense has a lot of talent. I think also the problem with this Chiefs team, we'll see what they can do against a team that can really stop the run. This is a good run-stop team in the Washington Redskins. I think that the Chiefs might struggle a little bit more, but them being at home, that 7-point spread really does worry me, but I'm still going to take the Chiefs.
I don't think Vegas and I agree about this game. I mean, a 7-point line is pretty big for 2 perhaps playoff teams in 2017. I think the Redskins are going to compete in this game. They have a pretty good pass rush, and the way in which they beat Oakland last week was very, very impressive. I mean, Derek Carr has the best offensive line in pass protection in the league, and the Redskins got after that line.
Right.
So I think that was an impressive win. Of course, at Arrowhead, totally different situation. So, folks, weigh in. Give us a heart for the Redskins. Give us a wow face for the Chiefs. We are both actually taking the Chiefs in this game with that. I'm not positive enough to go with the Redskins.
I don't even think the Redskins need to win for this to be a statement for them. I think that for the most part, they just need to keep the game close. So I think the Redskins will keep it close, but I think the Chiefs will win by 10.
Okay, so let's recap the power rankings from this past week.
Let's
of course. Going down the line here, at number 32, the Cleveland Browns. Interesting game against the Bengals. They're right there at 29. The Niners at 31. Jets at 30. Moving on here. Got the Colts at number 28. The Giants at number 27. Chargers at number 26. Bears at number 25. They just lost. They may fall further. Cardinals at 24. Dolphins at number 23. Texans at 22. They could move up if they get that win against the Titans. Got the Saints at number 21 playing in London. Bills at number 20. Panthers at number 19. The Baltimore Ravens at number 18. Tampa Bay at 17. As we go through the middle of the pack here, LA Rams, big game against the Cowboys at 16. Seahawks at 15 right there. 14, Jacksonville Jaguars, pretty high for them. We'll see if they continue to rise. Washington Redskins at number 13. As we move on to number 12, the Minnesota Vikings. The Eagles at number 11. Lions inside the top 10. The Titans at number 9. Cowboys at number 8. Raiders, tough loss, at number 7. Steelers at number 6. Broncos at number 5. Then the top 4 here, the Packers at number 4. Patriots at number 3. Falcons at number 2. Chiefs at number 1. As I mentioned, this is the time of year where we kind of see the separation, contenders, pretenders.
Indeed.
So that ranking could change, no doubt about it. As we mentioned, of course, we are presented by mybookie.ag. If you are a big gambler, a big picker of NFL games, like most NFL fans,
me,
like you, Harris Rubenstein, go on to mybookie.ag, use promo code CHAT, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on that initial deposit.
Yep, and again, it's the best deal that you're going to find on the internet for anything. They give you free money so you can make more money on it. It's unreal.
You can also go on to chatsports.com/bet. Submit your picks for this slate of games here in Week 4. Heck, if you're smart, you'll go with my picks. Don't go with Harris's, though. I'm just saying, I'm basically giving you the answer key to the test. That's what I'm doing. Right? That's what I'm doing. I'm projecting the future. So...
Get him away.
Just kidding,
Get
buddy. I'm sure you're confident in your picks. Let's move on to my number 1 game. You can't miss this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's the late window on CBS. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Raiders at Broncos at Mile High.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for the Oakland Raiders to show their dominance over the AFC West. This is I understand that the Chiefs are currently leading, but going into this season, this was the Raiders' division to lose. And in order for them to win their division, you have to win in Mile High. You have to win in Mile High in order to win the AFC West. And I think that this is their time to win. I actually have them winning this game. The Broncos being favored by 3 to me is absolute shenanigans. I think the Raiders are perfectly matched up with the Broncos in order to stifle a lot of what they're trying to do. I think this Raiders team is in line for a massive, massive win, possibly season statement-making kind of win in Denver.
You know, this is very interesting in the fact that the Broncos are favored by 3 coming off that loss against the Bills, but then you look at the Raiders and they stunk up the joint against the Redskins. So it's like, who's going to bounce back here? I actually think the Broncos will win this game. I'm just confident in their corners right now, and you have Michael Crabtree dealing with an injury. By the way, where is Amari Cooper been?
Amari Cooper's been dropping everything that's been thrown to him, but he has a big-time knack of showing up in big-time spots. I really do think that the Raiders are going to win this game. The Raiders are a very, very, very good football team. I just think overall, in terms of talent, they are better than the Broncos. They're looking for a big comeback win. Derek Carr is going to do everything in his power to win this game. I think the Raiders are going to win.
And of course, one game does not define a season. I mean, you look at that tape with the Raiders and the Redskins, and I just don't think the Raiders came to play at all.
They just never really got going. And look, I'll put it this way: no team is going to go undefeated. You're going to lose 3 to 4 games a year if you're an elite team. Sometimes you just lose a football game. And when I was watching the Raiders, and when I was watching their highlights, it was just like, the Redskins just kind of beat them. You know, they're on the road Monday or Sunday night. The Redskins just came to play, and I think the Raiders just kind of slid under the radar.
So the AFC West, Harris. Let's look at the Broncos. Are they a Super Bowl contender right now?
I'm giving a laughy face to this one. I think they have way too many flaws. I have a big problem with how this Broncos team is actually created because, look, C.J. Anderson has been really, really good this year, but at the same time, they can't win on the road. Like they've proven this for years now that they can't win on the road.
So they're going to need a number 1 or 2 seed in the AFC.
They're going to, absolutely. And look, they're not better than the Chiefs. They're not better than the Patriots. They might not be even better than the Titans. We'll see what happens through the course of a full season. But I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think they have way too many flaws. They have way too many holes in the offensive line. I don't trust this team against a team that can run the ball really well. We'll see. I think this game against the Raiders is going to expose a lot of stuff about the Broncos.
I'll show a little more positivity here. I'll say they're close if they can figure some things out, get C.J. Anderson rolling. If we see the Trevor Siemian that we saw a couple weeks ago, then sure. If we see the Trevor Siemian from last week, then no.
But in this Broncos team, if they want any chance of winning the AFC West, they're going to have to win all of their home games. They're going to have to go 8-0 at home, including 3-0 at home against their division. So we'll see what happens with those games.
Of course, weigh in, folks, as we go throughout the show. We will monitor your reactions as we also recap our picks. So let's take a look here. MyBookie.ag Pick'em Challenge. Harris, the viewers, and I all agree we take the Bengals against the Browns. I'm taking the Jets. The viewers and you, Harris, are taking the Jaguars.
They're going to roll.
Harris, you're taking the Cardinals. The viewers and I are taking the 49ers. Harris and the viewers taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am at my lonesome with the Giants there. And Harris, you're going Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins. The viewers like the Saints.
Indeed, very interesting one there.
Clean sweep here for the Seahawks as well as the Falcons. Harris and the viewers going with the Eagles. I'm giving the Chargers a chance here. I think they win this game outright. We'll see. And as we get into the late window games, or a couple of them at least are, here first the Rams and the Cowboys. Viewers like Dallas. We like the Rams. We're sweeping the Patriots. We're sweeping the Vikings. Surprising. Nobody likes the Lions there.
I like that. It's that line of 2. That line of 2 is so annoying. I think you just have to put money down on the home team on a game like that.
We see, okay, let's see. The Houston Texans, I'm going with the Texans. Viewers going Titans. Harris going with the Titans. All those games at 1 o'clock, by the way, just to correct that. Harris are taking the Steelers. Viewers are taking the Steelers. What is wrong with you people? I'm going Ravens. And then, of course, Chiefs, Redskins, Monday Night Football. Clean sweep for the Chiefs. Raiders, Broncos game of the week in my eyes. Harris, you like the Raiders to get it done on the road. So
I
do the
do.
viewers.
I'm telling you, this is a big-time statement game for the Raiders. They have to stake their dominance at some point as an elite team in the AFC, and this is their chance.
I'm going with Denver. And then recapping last night, I guess I'll take Tom's pick of the Bears, and you'll take the Bears. And we both got
I
them
took
wrong.
the Bears favored by 7 points simply because I didn't foresee the Packers blowing them out. It's on a Thursday. It's one of those awkward games. No one has blown out the Bears yet. Not even the Falcons blew out the Bears, and the Falcons blew out the Packers. So, it is what it is. I'll take the L, though. I really thought that the Bears were going to make me look a little bit smarter than that.
By the way, last weekend in the NFL was very unpredictable. Like, that was a crazy weekend.
I
hope we don't get that again.
I got absolutely killed with the spread last weekend, but gambling always finds a way to balance itself out a little bit. So we had one chaotic week. We might have a pretty predictable week this week. We'll see, Kim. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
a lot of intriguing matchups in Week 4 in the NFL. A lot better than last night's game, I think. There'll be some close ones. Let's look at the power rankings one more time, folks, here. Going through, Cleveland Browns at number 32, Niners at 31, Jets at 30, Bengals at number 29. Any risers in that four there, Harry?
I think the 49ers are going to rise. Despite of what happens with their game against the Cardinals, I really think that the 49ers are going to get out of the bottom four this weekend. Just, maybe even the Bengals too, because one of the Bengals or the Browns has to win that football game.
Absolutely right there. Let's move on to the next four here. Colts, Giants, Chargers, and then Bears. I think the Chargers have a chance to move up a few notches.
I do too. I definitely agree with you, and I think the Giants might actually have a chance to grow into the bottom four in the NFL if they don't win this week.
Now that's hard for me to digest.
0-4. An 0-4 Giants team with Eli Manning as the QB.
Crazy.
Awful.
Let's move on to the next four here. Cardinals at 24, Dolphins at 23, Texas at 22, Saints at 21. Now we're getting into the range where, okay, I could see a playoff out of one or two of these teams here.
Maybe so. I think the best possible chance is probably the Texans, and it really depends on what you see out of Deshaun Watson this year.
Yep, absolutely right. He played okay against the Patriots. Let's move on here. Bills, Panthers, Ravens, Buccaneers. Harris, is there any hope for the Ravens this week against Pittsburgh?
Yes, there is hope for the Ravens this weekend, simply because the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has not gotten going. It's been in neutral for 3 weeks now. I mean, you lose to the Bears in Chicago, you could easily go into Baltimore and lose that game. So we'll see. The Ravens have a chance, but this is the Steelers to stake a big claim over the AFC North.
All right, moving on here. Rams, big game for them against the Cowboys. You have the Seahawks, you have the Jaguars, you have the Redskins. Look, Harris, I'll tell you what.
I like all these teams.
Yeah, I mean, if the Redskins go into Arrowhead and beat Kansas City, that's going to throw these rankings out of whack.
That's going to throw those rankings completely out of whack, because you probably have to put the Redskins into the top 10, maybe even to the top 8 if they're able to take them out and take down the number one team. So we'll see. But I'm telling you, my eyes are on the Rams. Huge game for that franchise this season against the Cowboys in Dallas. If they show up on national television and also win, that'll be huge. Not only for them, but also because no one is coming to the games. If the Rams show up on national television, maybe it'll help attendance a little bit.
All right, let's move on here as we look at the 12, 11, 10, and 9 teams, Vikings, Eagles, Lions, and Titans. Now we're getting to the range where, okay, some of these teams can really make some noise in the NFL this season, and I think the Titans have a big-time matchup against the Texans in Houston.
And again, you got to win games on the road in your division if you want to make it to the playoffs and be a high seed. And I think that this Titans team had a big win at home last week against the Seahawks, a real prove-it win. Beating, whatever you want to say about their offensive line, the Seahawks are an elite football team. And for the Titans to beat them like they did with the running game, with how well DeMarco Murray played, I think this Titans team is taking a lot of big-time steps this year, and they're only going to get better.
By the way, you can make the argument that the Minnesota Vikings just have to tread water right now until Bradford comes back. Yeah. But if Keenum continues to play like he did last week,
why not? Then just keep going.
Air it out.
And also, not to mention, you want to talk about, outside of Kareem Hunt, the best rookie in the NFL this year has been Dalvin Cook.
That's right.
Who's very quietly averaging, I think, over 4 yards a carry so far. I like what Dalvin Cook has shown this year.
Can't forget about Stephon Diggs either at wide receiver. Let's move on here to the next four. Dallas Cowboys, Oakland Raiders, Pittsburgh Steelers, Denver Broncos, and hey, two of those teams play each other.
I have a prediction this week that two of these teams will drop out of this current little picture that we have here.
Could be Steelers, could be Cowboys.
Out of the drop 8. I think that if the Steelers don't impress me against the Ravens, if they win by like 3 points on the road in Baltimore, I might drop them out of the top 8. Just because, look, they have not had an inspiring win this year. They have not blown anyone out. Like their offense has not gotten going. And I'll say this right now, whoever loses that game with the Raiders and the Broncos, they are out of the top 8.
Wow, big time stuff there from Harris Rubenstein.
Yep,
Let's
absolutely.
move on to the final 4 here. Packers, Patriots, Falcons, Chiefs. These are all Super Bowl contenders.
Yep, Packers got their win, so they are going to be staying in the top 4. I think the Patriots, out of any team on this list, on the top 4, has the easiest matchup against the Panthers. But that Falcons game is going to be tough for them, and that Chiefs game, it's a trap game. Watch out against the Redskins. That's the thing. I don't know if we're going to have any movers out of the top 4, but just remember, any loss, you're out of the top 4.
Absolutely right. And the New England Patriots, of course, playing the Carolina Panthers. I think the Panthers have a chance to make that an ugly game.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Very thank you to mybookie.ag, of course, for being along for the ride here on NFL Daily. Go on to mybookie.ag. Use promo code CHAT, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on that initial deposit
Amazing.
up to $1,000.
unbelievable.
Example, I put in $1,000. Mybookie.ag gives me $1,000 to bet with. Pretty beautiful thing.
I'm speechless that you could just get $1,000 from a betting site
doesn't
to
love
win
free
more
money?
money. It's absolutely unbelievable.
So many
What
thanks
a
to
game.
them. Of course, go to chatsports.com/bet as well. For Harris Rubenstein, I'm Cam Rogers. Enjoy your NFL Sunday. We'll see you.